The Justin Robert Young podcast is brought to you, as always, by everybody who supports us at payjurydaily.com. That is where you can become a supporter of this show. You can become one of our exclusive Jury Box members that gets shouted out at the end of the program. It's all there for you, friends. Head on over to payjurydaily.com. Oh, and one more thing. We have some arrivals coming in this week to Stickers or DIAF. The Night Attack button pack, they will be shipped this week. The Death to Mayo pin, just in time for the holidays, baby. That is ready to be shipped this week as well. So get in there when you can. Stickers or DIAF.com. Oh, but enough of talking about how we support the show. What do you say we just do the damn thing? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Justin Robert Young podcast. My name is Justin Robert Young. Whoo boy, we have had just a hell of a day in terms of tech stuff here at the old JuRY Studios in Oakland, California. We had some problems and we had some solutions. This is going to be the first ever episode that we are recording with this new system. We are trying to stream it live. I don't quite have, what y'all don't understand if you only listen to the podcast is the fact that I am a one-man band here. I ain't got no producer. I ain't got no engineer. I ain't got nobody, keeping an eye on stuff, making sure stuff doesn't go wrong. It is really just me. And I'm trying to read the chat to make sure that things are going well. Now, this is sometimes complicated by the fact that the chat likes to make their own little memes or makes jokes that I don't get, right? But I think we do a pretty good job around here, and I'm very, very proud of it. However, hopefully, the audio that you are going to be hearing right now, if you are only a podcast listener or if you are watching live on our YouTube, then you will be able to hopefully benefit from some other stuff that is a better quality. That's the hope. Anyway, enough of my my craziness. It could always be worse, you know. It could. You could go ahead and be Brett Favre, for example. Here's a story from CBS Sports. Brett Favre sickened after being tricked into recording anti-Semitic video for white supremacists. Oh, my God. By the way, happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish listeners. Hanukkah began last night. 8 crazy nights. I guess we got 7 left. This is what happened here. Over the weekend, it was revealed that Brett Favre was duped into using anti-Semitic language in a personalized video recorded for a group of white supremacist YouTubers. Now Favre is expressing regret over not being vigilant enough to avoid being tricked. Everything happened on an app called Cameo, where users can pay to have celebrities record short, personalized video messages for them. The Hall of Fame quarterback was paid $500 by noted hate groups The Handsome Truth and the Goyim Defense League, which provided Favre with a script that was carefully crafted to include veiled anti-Semitic rhetoric without being too outwardly obvious. This is what he wrote. What he said. Brett Favre here with a shout out to the Handsome Truth and the GDL boys. You guys are patriots in my eyes, so keep waking them up and don't let the small get you down. Keep fighting too. And don't ever forget the USS Liberty and the men and women who died on that day. God bless and take care. This, according to BuzzFeed, is very carefully crafted. The small, don't let the small get you down, is apparently a reference to small hats, a anti-Semitic slur for yarmulkes. Brett Favre was not the only person tricked by the Goyim Defense League and the Handsome Truth. Also snared were comedian Andy Dick and rapper Soulja Boy. Now, man, oh man, this is something that I'm shocked has not happened earlier. I am surprised that this is not something that has happened. As one of the strangest elements of our modern internet world are these services. I think there's like celeb voicemail, Cameo, I guess, is one of them. But everybody's got their own prices that they charge. Just have random people tell you what to say. I know for a fact that, because folks who are fans of this program and the Night Attack show, our community is called the Diamond Club. That's what we call ourselves. We congregate on places like reddit.com/r/Diamond Club. And for those of you who are only listening, then you'll have to take my word for it that I am flashing the Diamond Club hand gesture. Now, some of the great community that we have oftentimes been very thrilled to get pictures next to celebrities for, while flashing the Diamond Club sign. That's something that happens. But what's the funniest about it is the success rate of how many times the Diamond Club symbol is allowed to be flashed next to a celebrity. Some get very, very worried about it. Some believe that, oh no, I'm now going to be on the internet with somebody flashing a gang sign next to me. Now, we're just a gang of internet goofballs, right? We're not hate merchants like the Goyim Defense League or the Handsome Truth. But still, that process of watching people worry about whether or not a dumb little hand gesture is cool has always made me think twice about these kinds of things. Because you never know. You never know what is going to be coded anti-Semitism. Like, really, the worst thing that he probably could say that he should have been more vigilant about is that he says, never forget the USS Liberty. Right? And that apparently is something that actually, I'll tell you what. Let's do a fun little thing. Let's go ahead and go over to Google.com. We're going to see whether or not we are smarter than Brett Favre. So that's the one thing that I would say. If I looked at that, I would have never picked up on don't let the small get you down. Unless I was aware of anti-Semitic terms, I would have never guessed that. But I might have looked at the USS Liberty, and I might have thought to myself, oh, shit, well, which one was the USS Liberty? When did that, would that go down recently? Is that like an old thing? So I might have Googled it. All right, and this is what you get. So, all right. Initially, and for those of you who are only listening, I will describe this to you. There's no outward, the number one result isn't this is why the Jews did it, right? There's like a USS Liberty incident, a Wikipedia thing. But I'll tell you what, you scroll down a little bit, and you start to see some stuff about Israel. Why did Israel attack the USS Liberty? This is because Israel did indeed attack the USS Liberty. It was an accidental attack. They thought it was not an American ship, and it was during the 6-Day War. So I don't know. I was hoping that there would be some element like right up at the top that would immediately scream out like, oh, no. Any reference to the USS, nobody is mentioning the USS Liberty except for anti-Semites. In fact, if Google wants to go ahead and monkey around with these search terms, right? If they want to go and try to keep making them better and better and better, that would be a good thing to have written right there at the top. Is just nobody is searching for the USS Liberty except for anti-Semites. I don't know shit about the USS Liberty. I'm not even going to lie to you. Tabletop Knight here in the chat says, wasn't it perceived as a surveillance ship, but it was a technology research ship? I don't fucking know. Apparently there's plenty of stuff here on YouTube about it, but I'll tell you what. This is the number one thing. The number one search result that comes up there is the USS Liberty Wikipedia page. And as I peruse the contents, USS Liberty, attack on the Liberty, investigations of the attack, ongoing controversy and unresolved questions, NSA tapes and subsequent developments. Yeah, you want to know what? I'm actually starting to feel like Brett Favre. That's hard, man. That's hard to put that on. Like, there's got to be something up here. It says the only people that are talking about the USS Liberty are people who are despicable bigots. So this is the only thing here. Some intelligence and military officials dispute Israel's explanation. Dean Rusk, U.S. Secretary of State at the time of the incident, wrote, I was never satisfied with the Israeli explanation. Their sustained attack to disable and sink the Liberty precluded an assault by accident or some trigger-happy local commander. Through diplomatic channels, we refused to accept their explanations. I didn't believe them. I don't believe them to this day. The attack was outrageous. I mean, I kind of feel like that's something that should be in the Wikipedia page. For Brett Favre's sake, at least. Is nobody here to think of Brett Favre? I mean, come on. One of the most iconic quarterbacks of a generation. Certainly one of my favorite people to play in the QB quarterback club video game. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get into your emails. You can go ahead and email us, jurydaily@gmail.com. Again, jurydaily@gmail.com. Just imagine Brett Favre out there in those Wrangler commercials. He's just like, playing catch with his friends. Hey, any of y'all know about the USS Liberty? Phil wrote, your emails from last week reminded me of my own rental car woes. Back in the late 90s, I flew to Austin to do some training with an outgoing employee for a job I was taking a couple of weeks later. I flew into town on Sunday afternoon and went to the rental car counter. My new company had made a reservation for me, so I assumed everything was ready to go. Plot twist, I was 23 years old. They wouldn't rent me a car. I knew nobody in Austin and had to at least get to my hotel, which was up on the north side of town and just a block or two from the office. So really, I just needed to get there. The agent suggested I take a cab. I had only around $30 in the whole world, so he suggested that I call a friend. I knew the names of exactly 2 people at the new company off the top of my head, so I found a payphone and the white pages. First person didn't answer, second person did. So I called up the director of the company that I didn't even work for, who was invested in a hockey game he was watching, and asked him to come rescue me from the airport. Guy said he'd come get me after the hockey game. So the director shows up a couple hours later, and instead of just driving me to the hotel like I'd hoped, he goes back to the rental counter, and we explain the situation to the agent, who lets the director co-sign or whatever. But then they need a credit card deposit from me or $250 in cash in order for me to be allowed to drive the car. Credit what? I didn't have one of those. I have to explain to them both that I can almost afford to eat 1 meal a day while I'm in town. An increasingly exasperated director takes me to a different rental counter and rents a car himself and then hands me the keys and says not to get pulled over. Anyway, that company let me go in the first round of layoffs when their venture funding didn't come through. I probably would have done the same. Phil, that's not your fault. They sent you on company business to Austin as a 23-year-old and then didn't take care of you. That's their fault. There's no part of this that is your fault. I mean, you should have told them, hey, look, I need, look, to be honest, if I were you, I would have said, hey, I need you, the director, to pull out one of them company credit cards, get on the phone with a cab company, and have somebody pick me up at the fucking airport. That's what you should have done. No, but this shit, you come pick them up. Oh, come on. No, that's their fault. You're on company business. You ain't there to play grab ass. You ain't there to fuck around. This ain't no disco. This ain't no country club either. This is an Austin rental car. Steven Schleicher writes, by the way, I literally, this had just gone out and Steven Schleicher had emailed me and he's helped me with audio shit in the past. So I literally responded to this email with a detailed technical question. Steven writes, when I was a young warthog in the early 80s, my friend Mike and I were on a trip with his parents. They got us our own room at a questionable hotel while they were in another room. We looked under the mattress, and sure enough, a ton of porn magazines. So the person who wrote in that porn magazines under the mattress were a thing is totally correct. I haven't looked for porn under mattresses in decades now that the internet is a thing. Oh, I'm looking under every mattress I ever fucking see from here on out. Craig! It's our boy Craig. Love Craig. He begins, it's your boy Craig! He then says, in case you forgot, I won the Don't Get Brodied at DragonCon with my jizz in my own eyeball story. Craig, I think you've slept at my house. Like, I know who you are, dude. I was listening to the podcast on Thursday when you were talking about how the military is a big segment of your audience. And, of course, the porn under the mattresses. I remember a funny story when I was on my submarine, the USS Philadelphia. It was the summer of 2009, and we were on deployment in the Arabian Gulf. I'd pulled into Bahrain for a port call. And I was surprised to learn that I'd received 2 large boxes addressed to me from a vague return address. It wasn't any family or people that I knew, and it wasn't a care package preordained from the Family Relief Group back in Groton, Connecticut. Curiously, I took them down to my rack and opened them up. Inside was approximately 300 issues of Hustler magazine. Who did I have to thank for this windfall? I wondered for a little bit, but I'd also received a letter from an old colleague who had gotten out of the Navy in January that year. He decided to write to Hustler magazine to see if they could send our boat a care package of shorts. Well, I immediately dubbed myself the Porn Fairy. I took those porn rags all around the berthing area of the ship. If a guy was in the rack, I politely knocked on the side and whispered, Porn Fairy, special delivery. Imagine the looks of shock, joy, and surprise on people's faces when they got a brand new 2-month-old Hustler magazine. If the rack was empty, I left it under the pillow like a reverse tooth fairy. I gave them to the officers as well, and they all got a kick out of it. I also gave one to the executive officer, and I asked him if the captain would like one. He said probably not, but why don't you go ahead and leave it with me? Yes, sir. Every new person who came aboard, pun intended, got a Hustler magazine if they were cool. But even so, I still had about 100 of them when we got home from deployment. Imagine how sad I felt disposing of all that honey. I've been filling out job applications lately, so if it helps, I identify as male, 2 or more races, a protected veteran, and no disabilities. And finally, Scott writes, and we're going to tease this one a little bit. Scott writes, I cannot recall if this questionable Christmas song has been discussed before, but Baby It's Cold Outside seems like something that would be episode worthy. Now, not only has Baby It's Cold Outside been discussed at length on this show. In fact, I think it got a month's worth of episodes a couple years ago, and that was when these fucking episodes lasted an hour long, right? But I've got another song that's in my crosshairs. And we're going to talk about both of those this week. We're going to, cuz I got more of a take. I'm now on the side of Baby It's Cold Outside. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I am. We're going to defend Baby It's Cold Outside next week. Ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up for this version of the program.
What do you say we both just leave?
I want to go ahead and thank our producers, the Jen, PD Rave, Non-Specific Rock and Roll, Martian, Joe Acosta, Redneck Tech, and James. I want to thank everybody who sends us email, jurydaily@gmail.com, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat @JustinRYoung.com. And, of course, you can join our Discord, bit.ly/JuryDiscord. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is your old pal, Justin Robert Young, wishing you a very solemn holiday greeting of please. Go!